Hello. Hello, and welcome to the Tie Show for April 15th, 2020. Today we have a sort of big day in sports as we had some big rumors going around. We'll jump straight into them in the NFL. Um, OBJ to the Vikings is a real possibility, as according to Colin Cowherd. He said on his show today that the same source that told him that Tom Brady was signing with Tampa Bay, which he was the first person to report it, has told him that OBJ wants out. And then another report came out today that OBJ to the Vikings is a deal that they are talking, which would involve the Vikings sending their second round pick and their fifth round pick for OBJ. This would be huge for the Vikings because OBJ would replace Diggs, and I also think it's a good thing for the Browns because I just don't think that Odell fits with their team very well, as we saw that last year when he only caught for 1,035 yards and only 4 touchdowns with Baker, and he demands the ball a ton. I get that him and Landry are best friends, and he was hurt last year. I just never thought that he was a good fit with that team. But we'll see in the long run what happens there. We also got some other one. The Browns did show their new jerseys today. They went throwbacks to their old jerseys. Not much change from the original ones. Just the sleeves have changed a little bit. You can look up online. They are also donating all jersey sales for that jersey for the foreseeable future to a COVID-19 funding project and people who are working on it right now. So if you want one of the Browns jerseys, buy them now. So all the profits go to somebody who needs it, be it hospital workers, first responders, somebody who's actually working, essential workers right now. We had some big news with uh, the virus and sports today as Dr. Anthony Fauci, the main guy on Trump's cabinet right now with the whole doctor degree and all that. He's mainly been the one who's talking about it, and he said today that sports would be a real possibility just with no fans. So the football season can go on in September. There just probably won't be fans in the arena. What he recommends is that you put them in a hotel, you monitor them, you test them every week, kind of like what MLB did with their Arizona plan and what they're planning on doing in Arizona, where they just play all their games in that city. Uh, Random stadiums, test the players every week, keep them in hotels with their families, just keep them safe and quarantined kind of thing. Which I think is all for it. We're all missing sports at this point, and any way that sports can come back, as long as it is for the right reasons and not to hurt the athletes, I'm all for it. But Chris Fowler also had an interesting view on college football today, and he's one of the main guys on College Game Day and all that for ESPN, and he said that he thinks it'd be impossible to play college football without the fans at that point. And what he's saying is wait 8 months, and he assumes fans would be back in the stadium, and you start the college football season around February, and you run it to May or June. And I also wouldn't be opposed to this. I'm, of course, wanting football in August. It would be really different not to have football this fall at all. Um, but if we were to get a better experience with football in a couple extra months, if we just waited, I'm all for that. A dream scenario almost would be that the NFL does continue on, plays with no fans in the stadium, but college football waits, and then we get a college football season right after the Super Bowl plays in February, and they play that till June. And we talked about this yesterday with the XFL. It does seem like spring sports are cursed football wise, so I don't know if it would be a good idea, honestly, based off the whole scenario, what happened there. But I don't think college football could fail during the spring, being how big of a sport it is. Like, you already have the fan base there, and getting the crowd back in those stadiums would be a huge advantage to multiple teams because there's nothing like home field advantage at a college football game. Some more transfer news. Trey Sermon, the old OU running back, is officially a member of Ohio State. Uh, Again, he kind of fell off at the end of his run here, but he verbally committed to Ohio State, but it became official today. He will be the starting running back for the Buckeyes this week. So I liked Sermon a lot while he was here. I hope he does really good in Ohio State, and it just wasn't a good fit for him here with Brooks and Ramonde Stevenson and Marcus Major. There were just too many running backs, and he was very injury prone, and he just never could step up to where he needed to be. With OSU signing of Donovan Williams, who was named Nebraska's top player of the year, that OSU's now in the top 5 in basketball recruiting, which is just crazy with their additions of Donovan Williams from Nebraska and Moncrief, who was the best player in Canada last week. OSU became a top 5 recruiting program, and it will be incredible to see what they turn out this year and or what they're able to do at all with their team. Uh, with Cade Cunningham and Donovan Williams and Moncrief and a couple other players that we named on Sunday, this team's going to be very good, and it will be very interesting to see how this all works out. Um, OU did land another prospect today in Elijah Harkless from Cal State Northridge. He's averaging 11 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, shooting 45% from the field and 36% from 3. He also led the Big West in steals with 54, which is the most since '03 that a player has had. Still, again, he's one of those juniors, so he's not a graduate transfer, but supposedly they should let him through. OU is expecting him to let through, so he will be another guard that gets thrown into that mix since Jamal Bienemy transferred. It'll be very interesting to see if Umaje Gibson or Elijah Harkless can beat out Davion Harmon for that point guard spot or shooting guard spot and figure out who plays next year. Alondis Williams also was a pretty good player at shooting guard this year, so there's a lot of depth at guard now when it looked like we didn't have any after adding these two guys that OU has, and it'll be very interesting to see what the Sooners can do next year. But that is all the big news today. Going back on the OBJ trade, a Cleveland report did come out and said that by a source to the Vikings that this rumor is false. So I can't confirm anything, but coming from Colin Cowherd, I believe him more than a Cleveland.com writer, and I'm going to say that it is probably true, and I've also wouldn't be surprised if OBJ wants out because of the way he's played in the last couple of months and everything. So just wanted to clear that up, everyone. But please leave a like and comment on this video. I'll get back to you guys more sporting news tomorrow, but I will see you all tomorrow.